all sports, double coverage.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Double Coverage. We hope you're still living, loving, and breathing sport. I'm Dom with the great man Sauce. How you going, mate?
Good, Domma. I'm
Oh,
good. How's yourself?
me-
How's things?
yeah, mate. I'm very excited about tonight. We're just talking before we just came on air, ladies and gents. A few people are going to cop a right old whack tonight on this podcast. It's been a while since we've just gone through and just hammered people for about an hour and a half, but it's going to happen. It is definitely going to happen. We've got a
What do
big
we got
one.
coming up,
We're going to
Domma? What do
start
we
off.
got?
We've got to start off with a conspiracy, but we'll get to it. Saucy's just messaged me, and he's convinced there's a conspiracy going on. So I'm going to try and clear it up. But we've got some EPL, Champions League. I'm going to lose my shit
Are
after
they
this
back to
morning.
shithouse?
No. Don't worry. All I'm saying is, if Pochettino doesn't have the contract in his mailbox, I'm going to lose it.
You should be happy. Pogba wants to leave. Riola, his manager's come out.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll get to that. I'm actually Pogba could be on my nice list, not the naughty list this week, mate. NBA's back on the cards. We've got some super duper lemons in the National Basketball Association at the moment. Absolute lemons. UFC, NFL. Big news this morning. This afternoon, sorry, over here with Des Bryant. He's just given up. He tested positive for COVID, and he just said he put in the too hard basket and said, I'm done, mate. I don't know what's going on. People are just losing their marbles everywhere. Then we've got
He put all that
Hobby
effort to
Talk.
get back, and then
What's happening in the sport world over the last week is beyond me. And then Hobby Talk. No Smokey that's looking like this week, but
stuff to talk about still.
lots to talk about. And we've got a few special guests within the next week, which is pretty good. If we can tee this one up on the weekend, we'll be laughing. But let's start with F1.
Leading F1, Domma.
Before Saucy just goes all Illuminati on us all, it was an unreal race, man.
First of all, Domma, we've 100% guaranteed a non-Lewis Hamilton win, as he was out with COVID. He tested positive.
As we said, he just wanted to kick his feet up for one weekend. He was sick of
He's
just
already sewn up the championship. Why would he care?
Yeah, I know. He doesn't care. Unreal start to this race. Once again, another crash. It's the same track as last week. It's just called the Sakir GP, but it's in Bahrain. We lost Leclerc and Verstappen on the first lap to a DNF. Just Leclerc clipped Verstappen. He locked
Thankfully,
up.
no cars blowing up this week, which was better.
Yeah, thankfully. Perez spun out and went from 6th to 18th. Now, just keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. He was in 18th spot. Great driving throughout the race, though, by himself, Carlos Sainz, and the great man who jumped in the Mercedes #1 seat for this week, Georgie Russell from Williams, drove his ass off. It was fantastic. Russell dominated this race from start to the middle, and we'll get to the end in a second. But he was robbed. He was robbed. Before I actually get into it, we're just going to go to the standings. Sergio Perez ended up winning this from last position.
Where was he?
Ocon.
He was 18th, wasn't
He
he?
was in last. Yeah, last. Because the two other guys crashed out, so there was only 18 cars. He was last. He ended up winning this race.
That's an amazing
Ocon,
drive, though. Still, credit to Perez.
Yeah, 100%. He's driving like a machine. He's actually got the longest drought without a win. It's 190 races without a first place.
Give him a clap for that, because, jeez, that's a long time.
Second on that list was our very own Aussie Mark Webber, but it took Perez 60 more races, so effectively 3 more years of driving to get his first win, which is insane. It's the longest drought, as mentioned. But Ocon was second, so Perez gets his first win ever. Ocon gets his first podium ever. Stroll in third. So we get a 1 and 3 finish for Racing Point, which is massive for the constructors. As we mentioned last week, it's $10 million on the line for that team that finishes third, which is going to come in handy. So Aston Martin at the moment will probably look to sew up that $10 million extra in the budget. Carlos Sainz fourth, Danny Rick fifth, Albon sixth, Kvyat seventh, Bottas eighth, Georgie Russell ninth, came back from bloody 15th to finish ninth in 10 laps, and Lando Norris, my boy, in 10th. World Championship, not even going to bother. Hamilton's there, but Bottas looking more than likely to sew up second as Verstappen didn't finish. And the constructors, Mercedes 540, Red Bull 282, Racing Point 194, 10 points ahead of McLaren, and 22 points ahead of Renault. The interesting thing is, this week is going to be the last race of the season in Abu Dhabi.
So there's that third spot in the third and second spot in the constructors is on the line.
Yeah. So
well and truly.
Yeah. The second probably not. It looks like Red Bull's got that sewed up, but that
third spot. Right, here we go.
Third, fourth, and fifth could swap.
10 milli.
Depending on position.
10 milli.
So 10 milli. 10 milli on the line. So last race this week in Abu Dhabi. So stay tuned for that. But let's just rewind a bit. Let's get into it.
Bring it back, Domma, because there's a reason why we led with the F1s. Because I contacted you during the week and the leading up on Monday, and I said, Domma, did you see the absolute shambles in F1 by Mercedes?
I don't believe some of the stuff Saucy was saying, because I was halfway through the race, so I didn't end up watching this week live. I was halfway through, so I hadn't got to the conspiracy theory just yet that Saucy's about to give. So I was just like, fuck, what's going on? I got to definitely jump on this and see what's going on, finish the race, and we'll get to it. But he was robbed of a win. They double stacked the Mercedes as soon as they got a virtual safety car, so they double stacked quickly so they could go out in front. And the most shambolic thing by the most efficient team I've ever seen. They mixed up the tyres. Like, absolute... Would
have it happened if Lewis Hamilton was sitting in that seat?
All right, give us the conspiracy
Domma,
theory. Come on.
There's been a lot of word, and you hear people out there, the detractors from Lewis Hamilton, they like to say, the cars are a lot easier to drive. He's just got the best car. You've even said who came out, Verstappen from Red Bull Racing Team said, let's swap cars and see what happens. Everyone's giving the credit to the car. Well, my conspiracy theory is, they couldn't have Georgie Russell in his first start winning the race. And it would have just proven that it's all the car. Here you've got a guy in his first ever race, and he was going to win, Domma. He was going to win.
He was going to win by a mile because after his pit stop, he was only like 2 seconds ahead of Bottas, but he got his pit stop sorted and he came out. And then Bottas pitted. I think he pitted 1 second a bit quicker than Bottas anyway, so just pretend that's 3 seconds. But he made up 6 seconds on top of that. So he was 9.5 seconds ahead of Bottas before this safety car came out and they had to go in for the double stack. And then it was the most shambolic thing. If you haven't seen it, definitely go get the footage and watch it. They come out with literally 8 tyres and they sit them side by side. One's rolling over into the freaking the out lane for the pit. I'm thinking to myself, wouldn't you? All right, Russell's coming in first because he's leading. Wouldn't you stack them? It sounds too intelligent to be like, oh, you're just nitpicking, but it's too intelligent from the most intelligent team, the most efficient team in Formula One. I personally don't think it's a conspiracy, but I do think it was the biggest balls up. But literally, why didn't they stack Georgie Russell's tyres in front? Why are you putting them next to each other? In front, the pit crew, put them on. Because one went on medium and one went on soft. So they're different colours. So I don't know how they
They're colourblind, Domma. Apparently, for that race only, they've become colourblind.
But
It was.
but
You could see it on the. You could see it on the tape, Domma. You could see the color of the tire.
it was just a shambles, mate. They put Bottas's tires on, and they were old tires. So Bottas has come in, exit lapped, and then gone. Oh, you just put tires that are like 16 laps worn on my car. So he had to come back in and pit to replace his tires to go back. It was just an absolute mess. George Russell, in saying that, as much as it was a stuff up, was killing it. With 10 laps left, it looked like he was going to try and chase down Perez's 8-second gap, which I think he would have done with ease. And they would have probably battled for first position on the last 2.5 laps. But he copped a rear left puncture, so he had to go in and get his tires changed again, which then put him in 15th with that.
And he still finished in the top 10.
And he worked from 15th, and he almost caught Bottas and beat him. He did score his first World Championship point. But back to your conspiracy, I'll tell you one thing: you did hit the nail on the head in terms of like. It looks funny like that you can put George Russell in Hamilton's car is going to win. That's just like saying I can take anyone, Danny Kvyat, Lando
Put our boy
Norris,
Danny
Daniel
Rick in there, he would get the wins for sure.
Yeah. So my whole thing is, I don't think it's a conspiracy theory because they're screwed anyway, Mercedes, regardless of what happens. Even if they did do a botch job or they didn't, they're cooked because it was proven regardless for 72 laps or 65 laps that George Russell in that car, before it all went balls up, was going to win that race by a mile. So everyone's saying...
Here's a team earlier in the year that I watched them pit Hamilton in under 2 seconds, mate. Under 3 seconds.
Yeah, I know. The pit crew definitely hasn't changed.
Well, it's the same guys, mate. It's.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I'm calling it. It's a conspiracy. They didn't want him to win in his first race. Imagine that. The rookie comes in, wins in his first race. They put him in this car. It would have just been like, and Verstappen would have just come out after the race. Would have just had the absolute. He would have had a field day with the media. He would have had an absolute field day with the media with Verstappen. I would have loved to see it. I'm telling you, they did it on purpose. They didn't want him to win.
I wanted Georgie Russell to win that so badly. He drove so well. And like we're saying, I'm not taking any merit away from Hamilton. As we said, he is a great driver, but the car is unbelievable. Genuinely unbelievable. We've taken Hamilton out. All right, he doesn't go 15 seconds or 20 seconds quicker than Bottas. But who's to say if there wasn't the safety car, that 8-second gap, that George Russell. So you've swapped the guy and he's still 8 seconds quicker than Bottas. Or 9 seconds quicker. Who's to say that wouldn't have blown out to 15 seconds? Like, I don't get it. It's just the stupidest thing of all time. Just put the equalisation in. I know I spoke about it a couple pods ago about, oh yeah, they'll be able to change one aerodynamic things and the makeup of the tyres. That's going to mean jack shit. So you're telling me you're going to wipe off 1 minute of a lead on Lewis Hamilton over Bottas, where he's beaten him by like 40 seconds in some races. So changing the tyre construct and a little aerodynamics going to wipe off 30 seconds. Come on, who are we kidding? Bring on 2022. Seriously, let's enjoy the last race because, as we said, the mid-pack has been the most interesting thing this whole entire season. The mid-pack of the races has been awesome. Constructors has been good in the mid-pack also. So enjoy this last race because there's a lot on the line in terms of monetary reward. I really am looking forward to it. And yeah, tune in this Sunday. It is Abu Dhabi.
Season, Domma.
Yeah, to close it off, Abu Dhabi. So yeah, Saucy was a bit fired up.
Look, I would say, Domma, you know, well, we're going to close it out next week, but I'll just leave it on this point. I would say it's been an interesting season, but we always knew from the start who was going to win. And I think I called it after, I think 4 weeks in, I'd said Hamilton won 4 races. And I said, oh, he'd probably have it sewn up by now. And you gave me a big scoff. You said, oh, there's still plenty of races. There's some hope for the other blokes. But let's be honest. Yeah. Let's be honest, Domma. It was Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton's championship to lose.
100% it was. And the commentators were talking about that, like, oh, this team always shoots themselves in the foot. Shut up, shoots themselves in the foot. They've won bloody 4 titles in a row. Anyway, stay tuned. Anyway, this week, Abu Dhabi to finish it off. So enjoy that. But coming up next, EPL. I've been looking forward to a roasting all week, mate. So stay tuned. All right, we're back. EPL. Saucy, take a sip. Take a sip. Come on, take a sip. No, because you know what game we're
Domma.
starting with. You know
Yeah,
what game
go
we're
on.
starting with. So take a sip. Come on.
I mean,
I'm
Sam Pella.
I'm actually going to bag one guy on your team, and you know why I'm bagging this guy. It may have something to do with the second goal that you copped. It could be something to do with the fact that he was walking off the pitch rather than defending. Like, I don't care if you... All right, we're going to start off. Tottenham versus Arsenal. 2-0 defeat. Winners Tottenham. Son kicked an absolute cracker, by the way, to start off the game. Arsenal shambolic. But you did have chances. I love... You might hear the sarcasm in my voice, as I like to do it a lot on this podcast, but Mikel Arteta was very confident. He reckons that you played them off the park and you had all the opportunities in the world and you just didn't capitalise. You did have opportunities. I agree with that. But apparently you just played them off the park and you deserved to win. Shut up, Mikel. That's all I'm saying. You do not deserve to win, and you think you've got your locker room around you, and you don't deserve to win when Thomas Partey, who sputtered up on the second goal, was complaining of a cramp or a hamstring injury, so he decided on the counter attack to walk off the pitch. He turned around, looked at Son, who blew by, was coming towards him. He's like, I'll take a couple steps. Son flies by him, throws up his hands, like, I can't do anything about it, and continues to walk off the pitch. Son then, they end up setting up, I think it's Lo Celso, and he ends up kicking the goal. And pretty much buried Arsenal.
No, Harry Kane kicked the second one.
Oh, Harry Kane, sorry, he smashed it into
That was top finish. Great finish.
And I'm sitting there going, I can't wait to handball this to Saucy on Wednesday, because that was the most disgraceful thing. If you've played team sports, unless your leg's broken or you've done an ACL, don't get me wrong, as you know, we speak a bit of AFL on this show during the season. My boy, who I love dearly, Nathan Fife, played a whole AFL finals game a few years ago with a broken leg. He didn't go off the field. Thomas Partey had a sore little hamstring and he had a little cry, and then he walked off and cost his team a goal. Arsenal are struggling as it is. And this guy's just a peanut. I'm sorry, he's a peanut. He's got no idea what he's doing. Absolutely no idea. So you can get him, and who's the other clown last week that stunk it up? What's his name? The other spud. That you're going to get rid of him. You can partner them together as a package deal.
Xhaka? We're not getting rid of him, apparently.
No, not Xhaka.
He's never going, mate, unfortunately.
The other guy that headbutted, what's his name, and carried on like a muppet.
Oh.
He's just got no idea. He soaked it up. And
Pepe.
Yeah.
Pepe,
So
Nicholas Pepe.
Those three. Yeah, you can grab those three, package them up, and
Dom,
send them
can you see how I'm smiling and laughing? Because it's gotten to the point that I don't even know what to say. Like, I've got no words to describe what the hell has happened to Arsenal Football Club. I have no idea what we're doing as a club, what direction we're going, because after last season, and, he got his sort of reprieve of having a season sort of under his belt, and we thought, that back half of that season wasn't the whole season, but, we're like, all right, he's going to make his moves, and we want to see improvement towards the top four.
Yeah.
Well, Domma, we're looking like we're going to get more like we're going to get relegated at this point than get to top 4. Let's be honest.
Wouldn't that be a sight to
Let's
see?
be honest. Imagine that Aubameyang's got to play in the championship. How would you like that, Aubameyang? How about you start scoring some goals, mate? Because if you don't, you're going to be playing in the championship, buddy.
Don't need to worry about Lacazette because Juventus will just whip him up anyway.
Lacazette's gone. At least my contract's nearly up. I can.
Mate, if there was a Ballon d'Or in the championship, at least David Luiz would probably win it if you get relegated.
Look, Domma, I'm just first and foremost, I am going to say, we didn't play that bad. We had opportunities. We went forward a lot. But I am going to pin out one guy, and it's the man on the right-hand flank for us, a right back, Hector Bellerin. What has happened? What has happened to you, mate? Barcelona wanted you at one point because you were such a good player defender. You can't cross anymore. You barely hit a target on a cross. Your defending's absolutely a joke. Not only on the first goal did you get done, but on the second goal you got done as well. Falling over. On the first goal, he falls over as Son cuts inside. The communication between him and I think it was Holding, absolutely terrible. And as he goes, Son just cuts inside, and Hector Bellerin's actually on his ass when Son cracks it into the top corner.
Oh, that was a ripping goal.
Cracking goal. And credit to Son, and I'm going to say, I'd love to have him on our team. The way he goes about it, his effort, when he gets the ball, his will to want to get on the end of things and make something happen. He's got a left foot, he's got a right foot. You can't deny that. You see him go on both. And he's the pace on him. And the connection between him and Harry Kane, unbelievable at the moment. And look, let's just say this. I shared it on the socials during the week. Son's got 10 goals on the season. Arsenal's got 10 goals on the season themselves. It just sums it up where Arsenal's at the moment, right? We are a joke. Yeah. We are far, far, far from a top 8 side, let alone top 4 side. Let's be honest. The likes of Southampton, Everton, outdoing us this season. Leicester City, there's some other teams. They are better than us. And I'm going to say it how it is. They are better.
Bloody Aston Villa too at their best. West Ham aren't that bad either. So anyway, you stink, but we'll move on. You're absolutely struggling.
We're only good in the Europa League.
Yeah, I know. Liverpool versus Wolves. It was great to have some fans back at games. It was 2,000 at Anfield. They got the job done very, very easily over the Wolves. 4-0 in that one. Chelsea versus Leeds. Supporters there as well. My boy, Paddy Bamford. Scored 4 minutes
opened the scoring, Domma, so they started well.
Which was great. And then they got absolutely annihilated. Timo Werner had a man.
And look, I'll just bring it back here. I see, I click on Chelsea games and I see this man on the score sheet. Olivier Giroud. He once upon a time played for Arsenal. Now think about it. We were getting so many balls into the box against Tottenham. We had no tall targets. No one. Imagine having a guy like him being able to come off the bench. But yet, we got rid of him. We got rid of some players that I don't know. They could still be at the club. Aaron Ramsey. Why we need to do more to keep him at the club? Here you go. He's getting a start in the Champions League against Barcelona today for Juventus. These are guys that we've gotten rid of, and we lack creativity. And they're two attacking players that Aaron Ramsey used to create. This is what I'm saying. I don't know the direction because we got rid of guys. We bring in guys. Lucas Torreira, who brought him in for one season, we got rid of him. Where's our next... Anyway, that's what I'm saying, Domma. It's frustrating. But Chelsea, in my eyes, are one of the 3 teams that I see can win the Premier League this season. So,
they're winning
Domma's calling that they're winning it.
I'm doing a Richmond here. They're winning it. As simple as that. I reckon it's over.
There we go. We'll cut that one. Show 23. Domma's calling it.
I'm serious.
What are we? How many games into the season, Domma?
Also, I did call that I did call that Pogba was going to go.
You did.
And he is
11 games into the season, Domma's calling it. Chelsea are winning it.
I did call that Solskjaer was going to go by week 6. I was wrong on that, but I did say mid-season as well. So that's game 18. He's going to be gone. And if he stays, it's the biggest mistake. But Chelsea's winning this. They're winning it. Like, we talk about Everton, and we said the only problem with Everton was depth. Let's talk about Chelsea. I want to just say Giroud's coming up. Like Giroud started, yeah, but I'm going to give you a few names of guys that are coming off the
Yeah, just give
bench.
us a couple.
Giroud, Christian Pulisic, Kovacic, Kai Havertz, like
This team is
Tammy
stacked,
Abraham.
Domma.
Tammy Abraham. This team is a joke. This team is a joke. It's Ziyech, my boy, didn't even start this week. He came on. They got that much depth because they. And the great thing about depth is they did draw in the Champions League this morning, but they got that many gun players. They can just rest guys, use them
And
for Champions League,
and I'll look.
and
Yeah, I know they got
it's
the
unbelievable.
rotation policy correct on out there at Chelsea, and one thing that they did get correct was allowing Eden Hazard to walk out the door and not fight
Oh
it because
yeah,
seen something absolutely, it's sad to see. He's only played 15 games for Real Madrid.
he's struggling.
He's been out with injury pretty much for nearly 2 seasons.
Yeah, he is struggling. But I'm gonna add another boy to my list. I have to
Here we go.
because I've been a big fan
You
of
got
him.
Jota. Who else you got?
I
You
got
got
Ziyech
you got
and Paddy Bamford.
and Fernandez is your boy down at United.
Yeah. All
Bruno.
right. So we're gonna add the fifth, number 5.
So this is this your if you're starting a futsal 5? Is this your 5?
Mate, I reckon I'm gonna get to a starting 11 eventually. Domma's starting
Oh,
11.
we're gonna have to build. We're gonna have to build it on
We'll go with-
FIFA Ultimate Team, I reckon.
Yeah, it'll be Domma's futsal 5 at the moment. Number 5 is Mason Mount. That kid
He's
is a
he's
freak.
good. He's good.
He is a
He's
freak.
good.
Collect
And
his
and
cards.
there's
That's all I'm
there we
saying.
go. Collect his cards, Mason Mount. I mean, he's
already
he's
gone
learning
up,
he's
so you
learning
probably
from
can't-
one of the best central midfielders that ever played in the Premier League, Frankie Lampard. Don't forget how good that man was on the pitch. So he's got a good mentor. He's got a great mentor, especially at his position.
And like I said, they're that good. Their depth is unbelievable. And you said it. Like they're a team that Lampard's come in. They had all these new players come in the off season, so everyone was riding them off early. Mate, they haven't even gelled yet. Now they're starting to gel. It's going to be scary days ahead for teams in the EPL. But next up, we had West Ham versus Man United. Now, we went down 1-0 in this off a pen.
You love going behind. I'll just say that.
No, I'm going to, keep that in mind. I'm glad you said that. So you go down again. We probably should have been down 5-0 at halftime. They probably should have kicked another 2 in the second
West
half.
Ham shot themselves in the foot.
They did. All right. We ended up winning this 3-1. Pogba hit a beautiful
Absolute
strike
cracking goal.
to make a 1-1. Greenwood scored, make it 2-1. We ended up getting the 3-1 win. Now, after this game, I was like, Pogba played really well. He dominated. Yeah, I'm not going to take it away from him. He actually killed it. And he blamed it, COVID, yep. And I said, yeah, all right, COVID, that's the excuse. We're not going to use that excuse for the last couple of years because COVID hasn't existed for the last couple of years. But I'll give it to him. I can't believe I'm saying this, but when we get to Champions League, Pogba should have played the whole game. He's actually starting to play really well. I don't know if it's because he's not going to be at United, so he's trying to get his stock up a bit now. So he's going to dominate now. So you have to play him. But Solskjaer has no idea.
But Domma, is that not a joke? Is that not a joke that the player does that? I'm going to decide I don't want to play for this club anymore, so I'm not going to give 100%. But come the time when I want to get a transfer, I'm going to give it my all. And
yeah, but he had COVID. You don't understand. That's the excuse. He hasn't been good for a couple of seasons. Don't give me that crap. Like it's just rubbish. But I agree with you. He's going to go. He's going to get a massive contract. And United, I'm saying this right now. I had a discussion with one of our followers of the show. Happens to be one of my good friends. And he said to me, he's also a United supporter. And I completely agree with him. United Do not be pig-headed and do not be stubborn in January. Find an option for him because you're going to do what we all know you're going to do in your management because it is shambolic in my opinion. Just like when Sancho, you wanted Jadon Sancho, it was 120 million. I know I brought this up. Saucy loves this one. 120 million, and we offered 89 million to make you think that we're going to get him for that. For them to say no, for you to counter offer, this sums up United's management. For you to counter offer and say, all right, we're going to try and meet you at the 120 million. We're going to go from 89, keep that number in your head, 89 to 117. Why the fuck wouldn't you just give 120 and just get him? So what's going to happen with Pogba? I'm calling this now as well. I told you, we're going to be in on a lot of people today on this podcast. If you don't find him a home, just remember he left on a free transfer the first time he went to Juventus. Then we paid 150 million out of our ass to get him back. And he's going to walk out again on a free transfer if you do not pull your finger out. And if he walks out on a free transfer, I'm telling you what, I'm probably not going to do it. I'm not going to talk during a soccer segment on the podcast that week. I'm being serious. Because it could be F-bombs, C-bombs, every bomb you can think of will be dropped on this show. So get your shit in order. You got to play Pogba now. As much as I criticise him, you have to play him because he's playing for a contract, effectively. And that's good for United. So we can use that money. We can generate more profit out of him if he goes. Next up, Man City Fulham. And I'm not finished on United because we've still got to get through Champions League. So we're going to cop another fair old whack. Man City beat Fulham 2-0. Too good for them. Sheffield versus Leicester. They were unlucky probably not to win this or at least draw it. They got a 93rd minute winner from Jamie Vardy, Leicester, to give them the 2-1 victory. Crystal Palace beat West Brom 5-1. They smacked them. Burnley drew with Everton, which is very disappointing. And then Southampton beat Brighton. Newcastle and Aston Villa was postponed due to COVID.
Domma, look, I will just say something. You posted your quarterly results in terms of clubs and financial thing. You actually recorded for the quarter 27.1 million loss. So if you do let him go on a free transfer, your club's already reported a loss in their last quarterly, and you're going to let him go on a free transfer. That is brilliant business. Brilliant. Because at the end of the day, you need to understand, although it's football and it's about winning and stuff, at the end of the day, brings it back. It is a business. There's clubs out there that find these young talent and flip them and make money, and it's a business.
Do me a favor. Do me a favor. While I'm going through the table, I want you to look up Man United's debt, financial debt. All right, because I'm going to give you a number, because I still remember in 2006 what our debt was. So I'm going to write it down, and I'm interested to see where it's at. If it's, I could lose it again in a second. But the table, Tottenham on top on 24 points, equal Liverpool 24 points. Chelsea third on 22, Leicester 21 in fourth, Southampton fifth on 20. Man United top six now, 19 points. Man City just behind on 18. West Ham, trust me, I've got the number here. West Ham, 8th on 17. Everton on 17 in 9th. And so are Wolves on 17 in 10th. Crystal Palace on 16th in 11th. Aston Villa with 2 games in hand on 15 points in 12th. Newcastle, 14 points in 13th. 14th position is Leeds on 14 points. Arsenal in 15th with 13 points. Brighton on 10 points in 16th. Fulham on 7 points, Burnley and West Brom on 6 points in 18th and 19th, and Sheffield 20 points.
How many points are we off relegation? Arsenal.
You're lucky the bottom 3 stink. 7 points. Or else you'd probably be...
3 games. 3 games out of relegation.
What's the number?
Domma, so do you want me to tell the figure?
Just remember, before you say the figure, just remember.
So this is, I picked this up from The Athletic, an article from The Athletic, which was...
very good. Very good, The Athletic, very good.
Which is, this was posted on October the 21st, 2020. And headline is Manchester United debt soars by 133%. Now, this is in regards to COVID. So, prior COVID, your debt was 270.5 million. It's grown by 133%. So now it's up to 474.1 million.
You know what the number was?
What was it?
In 2006?
Yeah.
It was 700 million.
Oh, so they've got it down a bit.
Effectively, we've got nowhere.
They've got it down.
Just remember who we got rid of in that time. The GOAT.
Yeah, we got rid of Ronaldo.
Not
got
bad.
rid of the best player of all time.
Berbatov. I'll tell you where the money.
That brings back memories. He was a gun.
Just remember where the money's come from. 80 million from Maguire. Let Pogba go on a free transfer. We spent all the money on Pogba. Then we got all these guys like Falcao and Di Maria and oh my god, like paying coaches. We went through Moyes and Mourinho. Been shambolic. Just remember, we had that debt. And this is the thing I don't understand. This is why I say it's bad business. We had that debt when Ferguson practically had the same team every year. I don't get it. And we were the most successful club of all time during that period in the Premier League. We could not be stopped. And we had the GOAT. And you're telling me, like, shirt sales from the GOAT alone should have just paid off everything. Anyway. I'm telling you, if it's free transfer, it's not going to be 477 million. It's going to get back. It's going to get
just
back
like,
to
look,
million.
even though I don't want to, you don't want to admit it. Like, obviously with Fergie,
Graceful.
he was going to be missed because he just achieved so much at the club. But, in my eyes, similar to Arsene Wenger, even though he didn't achieve as much, but as Arsenal fans, we took it for granted, making Champions League every single season. And I said to people, look, I mean, I think it's time for him to move on because I think he's gotten a bit stale and he can't get us to that next step. But, you probably going to miss him when he's gone because I think you're taking for granted how hard it is to finish in the top 4 in the Premier League every single season. He didn't miss Champions League. He missed it in his last season.
It's true.
1 season out of 20.
Shambolic. Honestly, terrible. But the games coming up for this week, there's some great games as well. Leeds versus West Ham, great game. Wolves versus Villa, great game. Newcastle, West Brom, Manchester Derby, Man City versus United. That is one to definitely tune into. Everton, Chelsea, great game. Southampton, Sheffield, Crystal Palace, Spurs, Fulham, Liverpool, Arsenal, Burnley, Leicester, Brighton, and then next round starts on a Wednesday. But those are the games to round off this week. We also had Champions League. 2-2 Lazio Club Brugge 2-2, Zenit Dortmund 2-1, Sevilla 3-1 beat Rennes, Chelsea and Krasnodar 1-1, Dinamo Kiev 1-0 over Ferencvaros. The GOAT beat Messi 3-0 this morning.
And honourable mention, Domma, I told you about this earlier on the show, but I'm just going to throw it out there. A friend of mine actually messaged me this morning. He said, I just won 14,000. I'm like, what do you mean you just won 14,000? He goes, he put it on his Instagram story. I checked the story. Let me just tell you, Christian out there, I'll give you a report. He's chucked on. Look, he's a guy who doesn't bet. He doesn't bet, but he's a passionate Juventus supporter. He was that confident in Juventus today going into the game. He had them to win 3-0. Ronaldo kicked the first goal, and Ronaldo kicked 2 or more goals in the game, so it's a 3-leg same game multi. And he kicked 2. And he whacked 146 bucker on there, Dom, and it paid out $14,100. Thank you very much.
You like that?
Thank you very much. And for that,
bang,
for that, Christian,
massive.
Out there, you will get.
Wow.
You like that?
Wow.
You like that?
You like that. You like that. That's
You like
massive.
You like that?
That's awesome. That's awesome. Good on you, mate. That is fantastic. Mate, lucky you didn't bet on Leipzig versus United, I can tell you that much. I'm literally getting exhausted talking about Manchester United. Genuinely exhausted. This is why Solskjaer has to go. He can't coach. He genuinely cannot coach.
You've been saying it. I don't know how long you've been saying it for, Domma. And I mean,
Just no good.
yeah.
This vision last week against PSG. Yeah, last week against PSG, or the week before. Fernandez clearly telling him to make subs and put this guy on and that guy on and do all this stuff, and then he listened to Fernandez and he did it. And then we kind of had more of a chance and we were able to defend a bit better. I know, and Neymar destroyed us in that game. So,
He was on another level in that game. He was unbelievable.
But this week, our best attacking fullback on the left hand side, Alex Telles, yeah, sub him off, put on Brandon Williams, young kid. When I saw him come on, don't get me wrong.
Did you have to look twice?
Yeah, because I was just like, since when are we playing fucking kids that are developing in the biggest Champions League game that we've played all year? Mind you, we were celebrating. Oh, we've got it wrapped up when fucking we beat PSG in Leipzig, and I won't deny it. I was like,
yeah, but Domma, you called it. You said we need to win this game against Istanbul, and that's where it started to go downhill.
And what happened?
You got on top of yourselves. You got too confident.
Exactly. All we had to do was win that, and we could have lost every other game. Who cares? Because we would have made it through. Doesn't matter. But we shot.
Now you have to hope for an absolute prayer that Istanbul, when that game gets replayed.
No,
that's it.
Because they walked off.
Yeah.
The forfeit. PSG have won.
Oh, really?
That's how it works. That's it. Unless they're going to play it tomorrow morning.
Nah. Well,
but I'm pretty sure that's
what
right.
I am. There you go. You're done.
We're close. I know. It got. I know. It says postponed. I think it got pushed to tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it's going to play tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, anyway, do you actually think PSG are going to lose?
No.
They're going to try and bury this team because they want the goal difference. They want to finish on top in the table. So we stunk it up. Alex Telles came off. Brandon Williams came on. We played a fucking rookie. Anyway, the third goal that they scored, Brandon Williams was actually ball watching. Now, I don't blame him because he hasn't got a lot of experience in Champions League football, but it was a rookie mistake. Harry Maguire's covering the middle. It's a cross goal.
Seen it.
And he's literally ball watching. And they just waltz in and finish it, and Harry Maguire turns around, he's like losing it. Rightly so. But, like, wake up. Then we got a pen, we got lucky there, and then Pogba got lucky with a header, which Pogba dominated from the moment he came on. Again, you should have just started him. He's coming off great form. He's just dominated. You got to play him straight away. It's just a shambles. I'm literally getting exhausted talking about this team. They're not shithouse United. They've actually been playing okay. It's just the coaching and the moves made, the subs. They've just been shambolic, like absolutely shambolic. And I don't know. I'm extremely frustrated. We finally got back to Champions League. Everyone wrote us off.
Group of death.
And I actually thought, you know what? Everyone wrote us off, and we can actually stamp our authority here and like put all the big bloody analysts to shame. But once again, we embarrass ourselves and we prove ourselves wrong all the time. We prove all these people right that we've got no idea. And not for anything, every single week, Man United are proving that double coverage are so right on the Solskjaer thing, on the appointment. Pochettino should have come in just because we're winning games. We're conceding goals. Did they watch the West Ham game?
In your eyes, Domma, is Harry Maguire actually a good defender?
Oh, he's a bit all over the place. I still reckon Lindelof's a spud as well.
He's not an 80 million player.
It's not 80 million. It's because he dominated, and then they're just like, they bought him at his highest price.
He got a couple of extra mil on there because the size of his head, mate.
Well, we could have got him for 20 million earlier, but we paid 180.
Oh.
We turned it down at 20 mil because we didn't think he was good. So, just like Pogba, gave him off on a free transfer, and then we bought him for 150. Anyway,
Idiotic.
we're shambles.
Idiotic.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there.
Games tomorrow.
Tomorrow, Ajax, Atalanta, Midland versus Liverpool, PSG versus Istanbul, Bayern Munich versus Lokomotiv, Salzburg versus Atletico, Inter versus Shakhtar, Madrid versus Mönchengladbach, Olympiacos versus Porto, and Man City versus Marseille. There we go. Maybe we just touch on it just very, very quickly. We don't get into a lot of social issues and political issues on this show, but I did call out Cavani last week for a Muppet act. There's 2 Muppet acts that happened this week. First one was at Millwall.
Yeah. The supporters, yeah.
And today.
Yeah, look.
You got to do better. Like, people out there, you just need to do better now. And I understand we discussed this, and you said it. It's like it's not as publicized now. Like sorry, back then it wasn't publicized. It was still extremely wrong. It shouldn't have been done. But social media, people got a pass. You know what I mean? They shouldn't have got a pass, but they got a pass. But now you're not going to get a pass. So teach yourself and reform yourself.
That's right.
Just do
better.
better.
You just got to be better. You got to be aware. It's been in your face for I don't know how long. How much more longer do you need it to be in your face to understand? So,
and don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. The bullshit thing out of all of this is I don't know his nationality 100%. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I don't want to name a nationality for the fact that I get it wrong. But the nationality of this 4th official, people were saying that was the acceptable way of how they talk in their country. I couldn't give 2 fucks how you talk in your country. Wake up a little bit,
it's
mate.
just like me. Look, us here in Australia. I don't know if anyone out there, Americans out there. This is no offense or anything, right? We actually have a cheese which is sold in our supermarkets. That the name is called Coon. It's named actually after the guy's surname who created the cheese. His name is Coon.
Yeah.
Now
we know that
we understand that. You need to understand that now in Australia that's not considered a derogatory term as much, but if you were to then say that to someone of American descent or someone who's from that area, North America or whatever, that is a very derogatory term and a demeaning term towards African American people. So you need to understand. You need to be aware. So that person, or I understand that's how you might say it in your country or whatever. It's acceptable. Well, do that when you go back to your country. But when you're around these other guys and players, that word means and what it means and how it hurts them, you need to understand that. Like, we live in a world where you've got a computer in your pocket. Yeah, you got a computer in your pocket. You can Google anything and it will tell you what it means and how it's derogatory and how it's wrong. So.
And how you phrase things
exactly.
as well.
So,
but yeah, like that. Yeah, that's all we're gonna say. And like even that thing with the cheese, the term, all those terms are wrong in every country. We're not saying it's acceptable. We're just saying that that's the name of his thing, and someone took offense here, and we had to change the name. We thought that's wrong because I understand that's derogatory to some people, but that's the person's name. Like, you can't change his name. Unfortunately, that was his surname. What are you gonna do? So, but there's different ways to interpret things, but I agree with you. They shouldn't be doing it in the first place. If they want to do it in their country, by all means, and that's the way that they practice in their country, I wouldn't be a fan in going there. I can tell you that much, if you're going to act like that. But just stay in your country.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, as bad as that sounds, don't spread the hate. We hate it ourselves. Anyway, that's soccer. That's a rant. Now,
up next, Domma.
Let's go to UFC next. So then we can take a break before we launch into some Muppets in the NBA. So UFC next. All right, we're back. UFC. Seen a few people watching. If you want to get involved in the comments, we are always happy to respond to anything. But Saucy, take it away. UFC, mate.
All right. UFC Fight Night. Hermanson versus Vittori. Now, let me say, Domma, that bout was in the middleweight division, where we've got Israel Adesanya is the champion and the undisputed champion at this point. He's undefeated, and Hermanson, who was formerly in the top 5 at number 4, coming up against Vittori. I think he was 13th before the bout, 13th in the rankings before the bout. And I say that because Vittori won the bout, and I'll come back to it and speak about it in a sec because I did watch it, and we'll run through the main card as I usually do. You had the lightweight division. You had Jordan Leavitt, who was, I said earlier, was 7-0. Came up against the journeyman, a little bit of a journeyman, Matt Wyman, in the lightweight division. Well, Jordan Leavitt made extremely light work of it because he knocked him out in 22 seconds into the first round and went to 8-0. So,
wow.
Anyone who hasn't seen that, go watch it because it's a quick watch. 22 seconds in, it's done. Then you had the light heavyweight division. You had Roman Dolce, who's now 8-0, who moved up from 7-0. So we had two losing fighters who hadn't lost a bout, have improved their records, defeated John Allen. Then you had in the lightweight division, you had Gabriel Benitez defeated Justin James with a KO in the first round. And then in the light heavyweight division, you had Jamal Hill, who was 6-0. He's now 7-0 against Vince St. Peru, who I thought would make a better meal of that fight and didn't actually do very much. So then that leads us into the main fight, Jack Hermanson and Marvin Vittori. Marvin Vittori, the Italian descent here, both Domma and I, so we're happy to see the Wogs doing well out there. And I'll say, Domma, this was an absolute cracking fight. It had everything you wanted in a UFC bout. Both men wanted to stay on their feet and fight it on their feet. There was a little bit of grappling, but not too much. It was sort of like 20%, 25% grappling on the floor, and 80% was on the 80 to 75% was on the feet. It was a cracking fight. Vittori coming in ranked 13th. I believe he stepped in for someone else who Hermanson was supposed to fight on late notice. I think he only got 3 weeks notice. He was supposed to fight. Stepped in, 13th coming in against Hermanson, who's 4th, and he was convincingly the winner. He won on the scorecards from the judges, I believe, 2 points positive on each scorecard. So the judges seen it as a unanimous win. And in my eyes, it was a unanimous win for Vittori. He was all over him from the get-go. He put pressure. And Vittori, let me tell you, he's a southpaw, and he has an absolute cannon of a left hand. He actually dropped Hermanson in the first round, and I thought the fight was going to be over, but Hermanson actually did so well to stay in it and get back on his feet and actually took it to the distance. But Hermanson, from that point, was always on the back foot. And Vittori, although he copped shots, when he was getting hit, it didn't seem to be affecting him as much as when Hermanson was copping blows from Vittori. You could tell by the end of the fight, Hermanson's face was beat up, and Vittori had hit him with a whole flurry of punches and strikes. Also took him down a few times and was able to, get top mount and get some blows in there. It was a great fight. If you got UFC Fight Pass or you find another way to watch that bout, I suggest you do. And it was a cracking watch. Now, Domma, that rounds up UFC Fight Night Hermanson vs. Vittori. But that leads us in to the big one, which I called 2 weeks ago. I said, this is what we're looking forward to. This is what we want.
Yep.
UFC 256 coming up this weekend, Domma. This weekend. Tune in from 2 p.m. for the main card, 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. That's you're going to got the heavyweight division, which Junior Dos Santos versus Cyril Gane, and Cyril Gane is 6-0, and well, I'm just going to call it here. Cyril Gane is going to win this fight. I've never seen him fight, but I've watched Junior Dos Santos in his last few fights. The guy has regressed so much from where he was at the pinnacle of his UFC career. There's no way he's being an up-and-comer. I think the up-and-comer, although you have to be wary of the journeyman, from what I've seen from Dos Santos, he will not be winning the bout. I would actually be interested to see the odds in that one. Might even try and get them up towards the end of this. We got the middleweight Ronald Sousa versus Kevin Holland. This should be a good bout. I expect Kevin Holland to get the victory. Could be wrong. Don't know, but I've watched Kevin Holland the last few times. I like the way he fights. Should be an interesting bout. Light heavyweight division. Next up, Renato Mochino versus Rafael Fiziev. Fiziev 8-1. Renato Mochino 14-3-1. Then you got the lightweight division. Tony Ferguson versus Charles Oliveira. This is going to be a cracking bout in the lightweight division. Co-main event. We'll check out the standings. We in the lightweight that's a light heavyweight, so that's the wrong one that we're looking at. The lightweight division, Khabib's vacated the title. You got Tony Ferguson coming up, Charles Oliveira, co-main event. Charles Oliveira ranked 7th, Tony Ferguson ranked 3rd. It's a top 10 clash, Domma. These are the bouts that you want to watch. Top 10 stuff, right?
Definitely.
So it makes for good fights. Then, in the main event, you got the absolute maestro, Devison Figueiredo, who made very, very, very light work of his bout. I believe he only fought 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he's jumped straight back into the ring for another payday against Brandon Moreno. And, look, I'm going with the champ. I'm not going to go against him. I've seen what he's done in the last 2 fights. I'm going with the champ. So, UFC 256 this weekend. Domma, tune in. Ladies and gents, out there, tune in. 2 p.m. for the main card. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Let's get it.
Perfect. Dos Santos is $4. Gain is $1.25 to win that.
Thank you.
So, yeah, your source is called.
And what about yeah, that's the one. That's
Ferguson's $1.61. The other guys are $2.37.
Not bad.
Yeah.
There we go.
Perfect. Gamble responsibly, as usual. All right, coming up next, we're going to keep the Lemones. We're just going to keep teasing it till we get there. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would have guessed it by now, listening to this, but NFL next, and then the NBA. All right, we're back with some NFL. Let's get straight into this. I'm just going to recap these. There's not much that happened, but Saints beat Falcons 21-16. They clinched a playoff berth. Lions beat Bears 34-30. 6 straight losses in a season for the first time for Chicago since 2002.
What happened to them? They started so well. And I said fool's gold. There was
You did. Colts beat Texans 26-20. 28-9 all-time versus Houston, which is amazing. My boys, the Dolphins, beat the Bengals. They're now 8-4. Miami, best start to a season since 2003, which is awesome. Vikings, our boy Kirk Cousins, beat the Jags 27-24.
You have to take it to overtime against the Jags.
I know. Raiders beat Jets 31-28. It wasn't convincing, but you take the win. Browns beat the Titans 41-35, and they are closing in on the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have got a few injuries, and they play each other in the last week of the season. So if the Browns keep rolling along, they potentially could clinch that division.
How do you only score 3 points in the second half, though, after you've put up 38?
I know. What was it? 28-3 in the second half, I think.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, killed them. Look,
credit
my boy Colin
Yeah,
said,
go.
they don't know how to close out games. Cleveland because they're never in that position. So.
It's true, but credit where credit is due. They've rolled on and they're looking like they could be a competitive football side leading into playoffs and potentially, win a playoff game. Do I see them getting much further than potentially past the first round of playoffs? Probably not. But
Probably not.
they are improving, and that's what you need to do. Baker Mayfield
exactly right.
has sort of understood his role and the way he sort of is portraying himself to the media and the things he's saying. It's all the right things. So it's good to see
definitely.
growth in his game as well. But, they're not going to do anything in the playoffs, let's be honest.
Exactly. Rams beat Cardinals 38-28. Giants beat the Seahawks in an upset 17-12. Giants are just rolling along nicely. They're 5-7 now in the shittest division of all time, but they're there.
But that is a very good win. But I'm just going to bring it back. I'm just going to bring it back where how that defense, the Giants defense,
it's unbelievable.
Is really, really good. I should get up the stats on it. As you roll through, I'll get up the stats as we go through, and I'll bring it back.
Packers did it. The Giants are solid by slapping the Eagles 30-16. And the Patriots shut out the Chargers 45-0 with a quarterback that threw for 69
I love that.
yards.
I love that. I love that. That's
unbelievable.
That is an
mate.
absolute coaching maestro right there.
He dominated. Broncos get beaten by the Chiefs. No surprise. Everyone said that they pushed them. Give me a spell. Bills beat the 49ers 34-24. The Cowboys lose to the Ravens today 34-17. 15th win by 14 plus points since 2019 for the Ravens. And then the upset of the week, Washington football team beat the Steelers 23-17. Also pushing their record of 5-7 in that conference with the Giants. So they're both equal there. I'm pretty sure we did cover this, that they will be playing each other. Yep. So looking forward to that matchup. The
Giants are actually a top 10 defense, Domma. So that defense actually sacked Russell Wilson 5 or 6 times in that match. That Seahawks, you've got one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You need to put an offensive line around him and protect the man.
100%.
And mind you, he's the LeBron. I keep saying he's the LeBron James in terms of the fact when I'm saying he's always available for his team. Look at LeBron. Every single playoff run they've ever been on, he's always been available. He's only really had one major injury, and that was last season. We've seen what happened there. Lakers were top 3 in the league, and then we ended up not even making the playoffs. But this year with a fit AD, we won it all. But, Domma, he's the LeBron James of the NFL. He's just there every week. But if you don't protect the man, he's not going to be there. He's going to get a major injury.
You know what's
what happened to Joey Burrow?
No, not just that. Just remember the last guy that was an absolute freak and they couldn't surround him with freaking a good defense, Andrew Luck, and he retired. So, one of the most talented guys to ever play in the National Football League, but was always hurt because his line couldn't protect him. All right, this week we've got a few games going on. So, Patriots Rams, Vikings at Bucks, Cardinals at Giants. That's a great game there. Kansas at Dolphins. Dolphins have the second best defense.
I'll tell you what, the bookies
league.
do not rate the Dolphins at all. Giving you absolutely no chance. $3.60 outside of Kansas City, $1.30 to get the chocolates.
Titans, Jags, rubbish. Bengals, Cowboys. Texans,
that is the
Bears,
game of the week in my eyes. Bengals, Cowboys.
Broncos, Panthers. Expect Seahawks to bounce back this week as they play the Jets. Colts, Raiders. Washington, 49ers. Who's the Giants got again? I haven't got to the Giants. Have they got the bye?
No buys this week.
Where's the Giants?
They got the Cardinals, mate.
Kyler
Kyler Murray, who's and the Cardinals, who are on a 6-game losing streak.
No, we thought they were looking.
We thought they were looking good.
So the games to pay attention to at the moment are that game, that Giants Cardinals game, and this Washington 49ers game, because there's a lot of implications there. But the other game to also look at is the Browns game, which is very, very important because we've got Saints at Eagles, Falcons at Chargers, Packers at Lions, and the Bills play the Steelers this week. It's at the Bills. I reckon the Bills are going to get them. And the Browns are at the Ravens in a divisional game. So if the Browns can beat the Ravens, it's in Cleveland. They'll go to 10-3. If the Bills can beat the Steelers, they will go to 11-2. There's a lot on the line this week for that division and for the division with Washington and New York in it. So unbelievable stuff. It's starting to shape out really nicely for a few divisions are wrapped up, but there's a few that are right there, coming right down to the wire. It looks like the Ravens, who we rated so highly, not even going to make the playoffs.
And look, I'm going to say this, mention out there, my boys, my Super Bowl pick, firming up strongly, just left, Taysom Hill comes in, and they just, takes it where Drew Brees left it, and just keeps rolling along. Sean Payton, absolute elite coach, one of the best coaches in the league, has proven that, although no Drew Brees, there is still the New Orleans Saints, and they are flying along. Now, Drew Brees is most likely going to be back for playoffs.
100%. Well, that's NFL. Gamble responsibly. Saucy, you've got a public service
announcement. I didn't put any bets out there this week. I was going to, and I'll just be honest with you, I completely forgot. And it got to Sunday evening, and I was just like, stuff it. And public service announcement, it's probably better I haven't, because you've seen how awful I've done this season. So you need to save your money, and you got Christmas presents. Christmas coming up. Put it towards the Christmas presents. Don't spend your money on the gambling, just put it to some Christmas presents. Buy a couple packs of cards for the kids.
Exactly, if you can find them.
And the bots haven't got them.
And the bots haven't got them. Exactly right. Or if you do have them, you probably find a packet that's worth probably 100 times more than what it's worth. So you end up.
Hey, look under Target. Look under the Target, under the thing. Lift it up, and
yeah, Walmart as well.
Lift it up, mate. You might find a pack for $4. Pokemon pack that's worth $1,000, mate.
Man, you might end up finding a box of Exquisite under somewhere. Who bloody knows? You find anything. But that's NFL. Stay tuned. Coming up next, NBA. I'm so excited. Alright, we're back. Yeah, behind the scenes, I'm almost bloody breaking my finger. I don't even know how it's even possible sitting down in the chair. But NBA, let's get straight into it. There was a trade. John Wall for Westbrook. Wall to Houston. Westbrook to Washington. Now, it's probably going to be the first of many times if it keeps going this way because the season hasn't started yet. But Russell Beastbrook. He's Beastbrook now.
He's not calling Westbrook. No, Westbrook. Beastbrook.
He's reported to training camp, partnering up with Rui, Bradley Beal. You know what I mean? He's come in. Great. Obviously, massive lift
energy
in terms of morale. His energy was massive. It was awesome. Fantastic. So, tip of the cap to him.
Not for anything. If Bradley Beal does stay in that team, Domma.
Yeah, 100%.
Could be anything. Go on.
Yeah, no, they'll be all right. But on the other side, we'll fly all the way across there to Houston. Our mate James Harden, one of our best buddies, as you know, especially the listeners know on this show.
The best left-handed defender ever do it.
And best left-handed scorer of all time. But shout out. But he did come out and say he wanted to play with John Wall. which is awesome because he also said he wanted to play with Russell Westbrook, and he stunk it up. He wanted to play with Chris Paul. He wanted to play with everyone, apparently, because that's what he wants to do. So he's playing with him. That's what he said. Then he hasn't reported for training camp. He's out at the strippers. He's getting tips off lemon pepper Lou.
He's getting his chicken wings. Getting his chicken wings with lemon pepper Lou.
He's not getting chicken wings because the Insta story came out and has been publicised. He's making it rain with the dollar bills. Absolute clown. So that's happened. And he said he was going to report on his time when he was ready, apparently. So he's reported he's ready to come into the club. And then he's dropped another bombshell. I want to be traded to a contender. Philly or anyone else. The fact that they said Philly in the first part is that's where he wants to be. Philly's not giving up Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. They've clearly stated that's not happening. I still reckon it's probably a good fit for him, but honestly, I wouldn't do it.
It's not. It's a terrible fit, Domma. I would say this right now. If he goes to Philly, that is a horrendous fit. You've got Ben Simmons, he's your primary ball handler. Is James Harden going to be running off down screens and off the ball stuff to shoot spot up threes? No, that's not his game, and he won't accept that role. He's going to want the ball in his hands. Can Ben Simmons sit out at the 3-point line and drain threes? Well, he's only made one in his whole career, and he's only probably taken a handful in his whole career.
Yeah, probably.
So,
but
he's a horrendous fit.
That's a fair point. And it would hurt him. The thing I was going to say was, I thought it was a good fit, but then I was going to say it was going to hurt their bench because if they get him, they'll have no one. It'll literally be Embiid, Simmons, Harden, and no one. They'll have no one on that team. But anyway, now he's requesting trades. So this is a guy that wants to play with Wall. He's just the head
Does
case.
his word mean anything? Does his word mean anything? Because, he wants to play with this guy, and then he jackknifes them all. He is an absolute clown, Domma. He's an absolute clown. I don't know what they were thinking when they got rid of Chris Paul. If they kept Chris Paul and the basis of that team, you were pretty much if Chris Paul didn't get injured, you could have won that series against Golden State and made a finals appearance.
They probably would have won that series,
and
definitely. They probably would have
you
won
blow up the team after that, and you get Russell Westbrook? Like, that's a downgrade on Chris Paul.
That's a massive downgrade. He's lost his marbles. He's genuinely lost it. He's got no leadership qualities at all, clearly, because he can't lead his team to anything. He's apparently, according to people out there that don't like when we tease him about his defending, the greatest defender of all time. He's just got no idea. Honestly, show some interest. If I'm an NBA exec here, I understand it's James Harden, and he's extremely talented here. Extremely talented. If they want to trade him to my team, do I want to take him? Is he going to come in as toxic as this? If you rub him up the wrong way once, this is what he's going to do. This is evidence. This is what people don't understand, as professional athletes, when they stuff around and act like idiots and then they expect their contracts. Execs look at how you act. And if you're bringing a star in, for example, you haven't got a star, right? You want to build a franchise around that guy, that's fine. But when you're bringing a star in to play with more stars, if he's acting like a muppet and he brings that toxic attitude into that locker room, it could blow up that organization and they could become a shambles. And it becomes more of a headache and a cost to the franchise than what it's worth. So him acting like this, people saying, he might go to Boston. Why would Boston, who's so clean cut in everything that they do, there's never any drama except for in the bubble when they lost it in that locker room, which was passion, really. Why would Boston want James Harden? To give up Marcus Smart, who's a defender, and all these other guys who all play defense. I understand he's a scorer, but he's just going to get in Tatum's way. Tatum needs a good big. That's all he needs. A good big. And they'll be laughing. And a decent point guard to distribute the ball. I just don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what Harden is thinking. This is a guy that was, what, 2 seasons ago now? 2 seasons ago? 3 seasons ago. MVP?
Yep.
Oh, he's going to win titles. He's going to win. He's not winning titles. There's only one guy that's winning titles. The GOAT. That's the guy. Him or Golden State. Well, Kawhi ended up winning that year the year before. Who was it that won it? It was Curry and Durant.
Yeah. They won back to back.
Those are the guys that are winning it. You were not winning it. You're good as a second. You were a third in Oklahoma. Yeah, you came up against the Heat. You weren't beating them, but you're not the number one guy. I just don't get it. It's just I don't know. There's another guy though.
Domma,
He's on your radar.
look, one thing I hope for that Houston franchise, whatever happens with Harden, besides Harden, I hope that Boogie Cousins and John Wall can come back from their injuries and they can play together. They used to play together in Kentucky, in college.
Yeah.
So I hope they can bring that and unite back. They've joined up again in the big leagues. And I want to see them fit. I want to see Boogie Cousins fighting. We've seen what a dominant force he can be when he actually can stay on the court. I hope they don't get injured. I don't want to see them get injured again. And whatever it is for that Houston franchise. But James Harden, sir, you are a lemon. For that, you get a lemon of the week. One of the lemons of the week, because we're going to have multiple at this point.
Here he comes.
We're going to have multiple at this point, because
Come on.
rolling in
Here
from
we
that,
go.
we're going to roll into another lemon. An absolute, I put it out on the socials today. Stephen A. Smith on First Take absolutely teed off on Kyrie Irving, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. If anyone out there who hasn't seen, LeBron James was on a show interview with Richard Jefferson, the former net and Cleveland Cavaliers champion who won another guy that realized as a vet, I'll just go team up with LeBron and win one. Got his chip. And it was on his show, and they had a bit of an interview, and LeBron sort of come out and said that all he cared about in his time with Kyrie was Kyrie's success. He wanted to see Kyrie be the MVP. He cared about his well-being within the team, and it wasn't mutual. Obviously, it wasn't mutual because Kyrie wanted to leave the team when they could have, if they stuck together, who knows? Maybe they could still be winning championships. I mean, that East, they could still be winning championships at Cleveland if they stayed together. But he left, selfish, came out and said later on, once he didn't work out in Boston, he said himself, Kyrie Irving, that it was probably apologized sort of to LeBron, and whatever. And then he's also then gone on recently on Kevin Durant's podcast and dropped more words and follow the realms of it. But the worst thing he goes and says is he says, if I had a problem with someone, I'd say his name. Kyrie Irving, how dumb do you think people are? If you say things, right, people are going to, as the media and as us here, double coverage, as fans and people who comment on actions, as we keep saying actions and you just spoke about before with James Harden, well, people will connect the dots. And that's exactly what Stephen A. Smith says. He said people will connect the dots. And what else are you saying? What else are you saying, Kyrie Irving? When you say these or all of these things, people are connecting the dots, and it just makes you look like an absolute fool, an absolute lemon. He's getting a lemon.
You know what the funny thing?
It's just ridiculous. Domma, this is what I understand, mate. You're a guy, you haven't played for nearly a whole year. You've been irrelevant. But yet you need to come out and say, I'm not speaking to the media. After you want to change your actions, so you do that by what you do going forward. Media is part of basketball. It's not the media's fault that they try piece together the puzzle because you say things but you don't say directly, of course they're going to put meaning to those things because that you say. It's just what
That's their
it's
job.
their job. It's just what they do. Um,
But to say that they're on media bans, like you're the leaders of a basketball franchise. Brooklyn needs your help to grow
Imagine
the
him and
franchise.
KD going media ban and you left Jared Allen to do the media.
Oh, mate, I just don't get it.
This is
Honestly,
where straight out owners should come out. Well, if you don't want to speak to the media, well, you're going to lose 1/4 of your contract this season. It's
but
part of
this is
being
where people.
a professional player, Domma.
But the thing I don't understand either with Kyrie, like, and he's a phenomenal player. That's the thing. But what was he before LeBron got there? Injury prone, highly skilled point guard with offensive talent, but
And
always
finishing
injured.
bottom in the East.
Yeah. Then he got hurt the year him and Love got hurt in that season. They probably would have won it. But he comes back, he wins the chip with LeBron, and then he wants to up and leave LeBron. Like, I understand other guys
Imagine winning a chip
getting up
and
and
then leaving.
going to Boston, and I think if people actually wanted to mention names and not say names, as Kyrie's saying, I can tell you what, Kyrie, just imagine if Danny Ainge had to come out in that season and mention the person that was causing all the problems in Boston. I'm pretty sure the name would only be a couple or a fair few. Your name, a fair few times. That's what it would be. Honestly. Like, I don't understand. I'm with you. He's been irrelevant in that he wants to be relevant during the basketball season by giving hot takes. And it's not even a hot take. It's just stupidity. You're calling out the greatest player of all time. LeBron could be, I don't care what anyone says. LeBron, I'm going to bring it back to him. He could be the biggest asshole on the planet, yeah? Ever. As a person. But I don't care. What he does on the basketball court is what he does on the basketball court. What he does off the court, I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? That's him. If he wants to be like that, he can be like that. But behind closed doors, like, people might be LeBron's this, but LeBron's that. But in front of, like, he fronts to me and people say, oh, it's fake. All right? So when Jordan's punching people in the head and doing stupid shit and, you know what I mean? Like, the media captured that and the story came out and people thought a bit differently of Jordan. You know what I mean? I'm sure the late, great Kobe Bryant done things too and said things to teammates but it's like airing dirty laundry.
Yeah.
But passively. Grow a pair of balls. Just come out and say it was LeBron. Just say it. We all know who you're talking about. Don't cut.
You know why he doesn't want to do that?
He's going to come out and say,
You know why he doesn't want to do that, Domma, is because LeBron's never said a bad word about him to the media or to a source that's been recorded or something. You know, you get what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing on record of nothing on record of LeBron talking bad about Kyrie, right?
My dream.
So if Kyrie goes and does that first, he looks like an absolute fool. In our eyes, Domma, he's an absolute fool. He's an absolute lemon, as we've mentioned earlier. And I'll give him another lemon up on the screen. He's won already in our eyes. But, you know, he does it just for his own head up there, up top. He wants to have that peace of mind that he doesn't have that on his conscience. Well, Kyrie...
LeBron's got 4 chips, mate, in his loving life, and he gave you
one. Without LeBron James, you wouldn't have won nothing. Oh, you made the last shot. Yeah, don't forget about the 8 points scored in a row to up to that point for Kyrie to have the opportunity to make that shot. I'm pretty sure LeBron scored every single one of those. So
yeah. That's NBA. We're just sick of this spudness, mate. Just get the season
You've
started.
done nothing. You've been off the court. Shut the hell up. Front the media. Get your ass out there. You got the second best player on the planet on your team, right? In KD, who's apparently the back. You know, it's Kevin Durant, as we quote Jared Allen when they asked the media, asked him, you know, how does Kevin Durant look? He's like, it looks like Kevin Durant. All right, so you've got the pieces there. Just get a couple more guys. You got Joe Harrison, great shooter. You need to put another couple of shoes. there's no reason why you shouldn't finish in the top 2 in that East, as long as you stay healthy.
I just can't wait. You know what my dream is? Like I was saying, your dream is probably the same thing. I don't think they're going to win the East, but I actually hope they win the East, and I hope the Lakers win the West, and then LeBron beats him 4-0 in the finals and gives him a bath. That's what I actually pray.
Elite.
Gives him a bath, because then we can say what he said, his comments about Durant. You know what I mean? All that crap he said on the podcast.
Ah, man, I'm over it. Anyway, on to the,
Anyway,
what about
you just-
to next, Domma?
Coming up next, we've got some hobby talk. It's the last segment, as there's no Smokey. So coming up next, hobby talk. All right, we're back. Hobby talk. Let's get straight into it. A few issues to start with. Housekeeping. NFL Prism release. Nice product.
Look,
First
it
of
looks
all.
good.
Very nice. The color blasts look good. The golds, everything. It's, as we know, Prism's a sick product. So that's awesome. Looks good. But there's a problem. Saucy. Can we make everyone aware with the photos? The first off the lines. What's going on?
So Domma, first off the line, which is this is really bad. But you know, first off the line boxes going for $1,000 a pop. Anyone who doesn't know what that means, first off the line literally means the first release of the product. In terms, and they've got different. They've got certain variations that are only in their first off the line release, and these first off the line don't go to a distributor. They come directly from Panini's factory to you, right? If you were lucky enough to get one on the Dutch auction. Now, there has been some first off the line boxes cracked open where I'm not even joking you, Domma. Every single corner, there's like the same corner on every single card of every single card in the box has been bent severely. Bent severely to the point where if you graded that card, there is no chance that it's getting above a 6.
Holy crap.
That's how bad the bents are. And some of them are just ridiculous. And it's not just like it's one packet of the cards inside the box. It's every single packet of cards
Pack.
that has the flaw.
All the cards or just a couple?
No. Like the guy stacked up a whole stack of them about that big. Say probably 10 centimeters, 15 centimeters stack of the cards out of the first off the line. And it was all destroyed.
So is that just one
Now,
case?
look, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the go is. That was just one gentleman's experience that I've noticed on Instagram. But you know that really shouldn't be happening. For a box, you're paying $1,000, mind you. This is a Dutch auction. That's not a resale value. That's retail value. Because that was in a Dutch auction, $1,000 a box. Directly to Panini. That Dutch auction, you know, none of that goes to a distributor. That goes directly to Panini. So for $1,000 a box, you should not be getting that shit.
No, 100%.
That's really piss poor. I don't know if the guy on Instagram happened to. I should have saved his profile so we could put it to the listeners out there so they can see it. If I do find it, I'll post it on our socials and a link to his that image so you can have a look on IG. Mainly, you want to be following us there. That's the main platform, but we are on across all the platforms, aren't we, Domma? Yeah, that's pretty poor. Look, it's pretty poor. It's if you ask me. It shouldn't be happening. It should look. I understand there's flaws at some point with products, but that's unexcusable, Domma.
Yeah, I agree. Another few things before we get into some big news that came out today, but some trends that you've been seeing.
Yeah.
You've been letting me know about them. They're very odd. I can't understand it. Especially considering like Prism Basketball is like the GOAT of products. I don't understand some of these things that you're gonna tell us about.
Yeah. So right, Domma. So essentially, I sent out on the socials during the week, on my socials, my personal page at Sauceys Collectibles on Instagram, and I took a screenshot of a lot of KZ Okpala rookie cards, a 35 lot on eBay on auction, so 35 mosaic base cards. Now, why am I collecting KZ Okpala? Don't ask that question. It's just, I've decided to get him because he was cheap and I see a little bit of potential. But I was picking up his cards back in March, right? So this is a lot of 35 cards, Domma. It finished the auction $45 for 35 base cards. I was baffled. I was willing to pay up to 20 USD. I was like, there's no way this will go over 20 USD. Like, it's mosaic, yeah? It's KZ Okpala. The guy's, barely played. He's barely played any minutes. I think he played maximum of I think he played 60 minutes for the whole season. I'm pretty sure. Something like that. I was amazed. I was like, what the hell is going on? To the point where people are paying that much for mosaic base cards of KZ Okpala. Now, for me, that's a reflection of where this hobby is at. And where has it's come, even just from March. Because in March, I was buying lots of KZ Okpala Prism base cards. I bought a lot of 29 for 10 USD.
Maybe they know something that we don't. Maybe he's going to get a bit of airtime.
Well,
old KZ. Maybe he's as big as the Greek Freak in size and he's going to dominate.
I don't know. It's either that, Domma, or people have lost their marbles. When you think about Prism is the flagship product, Prism is the base card out of all base cards that ends up being the most in value. It's been like that for years, historically. Right? It's not going to change anytime soon. I'm telling you now. Prism is the beast. Yeah? And the beast is undefeated. Oh, that's all I'm going to say. Even though people want to say Optic was on the rise, Select's on the rise. Yeah, they got up. Never even got close to Prism.
Even though we've said Select is
Select,
better,
in my eyes, Select's a better product.
Way better.
Way better. But you can't be ignorant, as I say to people as well. Don't be ignorant and ignore the Prism beast.
Correct.
Spread your coin around. Get a bit of this, bit of that. It's always good to have variation. I'm thinking people have lost their marbles. Like, you're paying for mosaic base cards, not, I'll pay for Prism. I'll take my Prism. And I actually had a chat with someone about this. Someone commented back to me, and I said to him, and he's like, oh, that was a good deal. I'm like, yeah, it was a good deal, and at that time, no one, that's what you could get. Like, I was buying Prism Silvers for 2 USD. I think they're going now, over 10, comfortably, maybe even more. Jeez. Right? I was buying cracked, lots of KZ Okpala with cracked ice in there, red cracked ice, orange cracked ice, Prism greens, everything, lots of it. Yeah, I bought a lot of 15 cards for there's another one over there. It's under $20 US, and it's half of it's base and half of it's all colored prisms,
inserts and stuff.
And then you've got this 35 lot of mosaic base cards. And then, this is what tops it off, Domma. I was watching another lot of the new Hoops Premium product, KZ Okpala, a lot of 6 of the base cards out of that. That went for $12 US, 6 of them. I paid 10 USD for 29 Prism base. What's going to be worth more in the long run, Prism or Hoops Premium?
Oh, I don't know. It's an odd one. It really is.
So, look, I think either I don't think it's the KZ Okpala, the player. I don't think it's that. I think it's just where the hobby's at, that everyone's buying these guys and hoping. You got to remember, I listened to the story during the week of our good friends down there at Cherry, and G was talking on one of his chats, and he was saying, I can't tell you the amount of Giannis Antetokounmpo Prism rookie cards, base cards, that went in the bin because no one wanted them.
He says it all the time. He used to rip boxes at home and literally just throw it down the rubbish chute in his apartment. He reckons hundreds of Giannis rookies because everyone's like, this guy's a spud.
So now,
It's
where the hobbies
unbelievable.
come from, everyone is holding on. No one, like, everyone's trying to find that sort of, either that next Giannis or that next, you got to remember, like, even Kawhi was never so good at the start. So if you collected Kawhi at the
Yeah.
start, now where Kawhi is now,
Well, it's perfect that you say they're holding on to him just like a stock. So that will lead in perfectly into some news that broke today. Yeah, today.
this is yesterday,
Uh,
well, it's, yeah, in the last 2
yesterday, I
days,
think.
so.
Yeah, but yeah, about Starstock. So Saucy, you are the professional on this. Go for it. What's happened?
So I'll bring it up here.
It's massive.
I'll bring it
Massive.
up here on the screen. Anyone who's following on YouTube, you'll be able to see the article I brought up on the Sportico, which is a website where I just typed in. But on Google and search for Starstock investment, as you can see, Kevin Durant, the face. Kevin Durant, one of many people that put money in towards Starstock and investing in it. Among other names, you have Jeremy Levine, AJ Vaynerchuk, and Matthew Dellavedova.
So if you haven't realized, AJ Vaynerchuk is Gary Vee's brother, and he's also his partner in VaynerMedia. So
Right, these are guys who have been really right on a lot of online platforms and made a lot of money. So is this another one? I think it's got potential, and by having more money now, the issues been with Starstock in the past, the way that they've sort of their processing takes too long and all this sort of things. Well, with money, with 1.3 million raised in investments, that's a hell of a lot of money. You can do a lot better, make your processes a lot faster. So Starstock, founded on November 2019. Starstock has 200,000 cards for sale. They're a marketplace that's sort of built towards the daily fantasy market, if you get what I mean, where their whole method is you can only submit cards. First of all, you can only submit cards of certain sets. And second of all, you can only submit cards of currently active players, right? Now, they have one good thing about Starstock is they only charge 5% fee, which is, a lot better than 10% from eBay. And how it works is you send your cards there to be logged into the system. They log your cards in the system. Mind you, please read the fine print, because if you send in bad cards, they will. I believe in the fine print, they don't return those cards to you. They literally just put the ones that are viable to go up, and they say that they throw out the rest, which I don't believe. In my opinion, they're either keeping them and selling them another means or something. I don't know. I could be wrong on that point, but that's just what I've read. I haven't looked into their terms, but make sure you read their terms before you just send everything. You want to be sending the better quality ones, because they will not accept
yeah,
low or bad quality cards, because they've got a ranking system. Obviously, they've got graded A, B, and C. So they rank the cards A, B, and C grade in terms of like their own eyes. So each card gets reviewed, and that's like, their sort of way to put a value on the raw cards. You send your cards in, they go into the Starstock vault. It's then, now that it's in the Starstock vault, it can be simultaneously, instantly transferred between people on Starstock and accounts on Starstock. So you could buy a card and sell it within that same minute. You could buy a card, own it, and sell it in the same minute. That's how, and that card is then gone in the same minute, and you then have the funds from that straight away. There's no waiting for shipping, no waiting for times for this or whatever. Buying it in the US, putting in Ship My Cards and bringing it to Australia. You can buy it in the US on eBay, send it straight to Starstock if you like, and then you put it on their system. So they've generated funds, some big names in it. So what does that mean for the hobby going forward? As you can see in the article, I'll put a link to this article in the show notes on both YouTube and across the podcast when that releases tomorrow, and you will see the article for itself. But what does this mean, Domma? And I think it means more eyes,
mate, as well.
more positive things for the hobby, more growth. Another aspect to deal with within the hobby. I have seen people using Starstock as a way to comp their card. In my eyes, that's not fair because it's been proven that prices on Starstock aren't reflective of a current market price of the card. Sometimes the prices that people were willing to pay on Starstock are a lot higher than buying it off eBay. But that's because it's all got to do with the simultaneous transactions and being able to keep that money on a rotation and flip that money. So essentially, like day trading the card or day trading in the stock market, day trading your card because you can buy in and out of these cards quickly. Now, the money that's coming in, that's just going to help the cause because it's going to be able to improve their processes. It's going to be able to then they're going to be able to build a better platform. So I think they're probably most likely going to have an app very soon. They don't have an app yet, I don't think. I think an app probably be coming soon, unless they do have an app already. Don't quote me on that. But it's interesting stuff, Domma, and I think there's a place, as I spoke to you earlier, I think there's a place for this in the market, and I think it's where people should be looking to pick up lots of base cards, like I spoke about before with the KZ, picking up lots of guys. No app. Oh, there you go. So, picking up lots of guys, and then sending those lots in, rookies. I believe you can only sell rookies on there as well. You can't just sell any card. It's only rookie cards and only active players. And sending those into Starstock, because if you can pick up lots of a rookie card and then you can send that into Starstock, then you could probably flip it and make more money on Starstock than you probably could selling them on eBay. If that's what you want to do. Or, that's where you hoard your base rookies and send those base rookies to them. Personally, if I had an RPA or something like that, I wouldn't be sending it to Starstock. That's just me. There are people that are doing that and are sending it to Starstock, and I mean, that's great. But I would think it's more for the base and for the hollows, where there's still a few more of those in circulation. But yeah, it's interesting stuff, Domma, and it's let's see how this develops. Let's see where Starstock is probably 6 months from now, and we'll come back and talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. I reckon it's awesome. Positive stuff. It's been really positive for the hobby.
Massive 2 weeks. Massive 2 weeks.
Which is awesome. This is great. This is what we want, and putting joy on people's face in trading sports trading cards. So yeah, that's it, mate.
Domma, before we go, I've just got one. I've just had to bring up one because we talked about the price thing, and I just brought about KZ Pala. I'm gonna just bring it back to as I was mentioned before. What did I say? Right. I'm just gonna switch it over and we're gonna bring up our favorite platform. We couldn't go a week without bringing up Card Ladder. Let's be honest, Dom.
No, we need it. We need it with our boy.
And Chris and the lads out there. The amazing work, lads, ladies, and gentlemen. If there are ladies working behind the scenes, I've got up on screen, Dom, the Trae Young NBA Hoops PSA 9. Right? Alright, albeit the pop report only 455, but that could jump mightily quickly because I do know people were sending a hell of a lot in. If we just go have a look at, say we do the same pop report on Luka the Don, and we have a look at the pop report on the PSA 9, it's already up to 1,100, so that can jump quite quickly. And the PSA 10 pop report on Luka is at 2,600. So a hell of a lot of people haven't graded their Trae Young hoops, and I have been seeing a lot hit the market. Now, we'll go back to Trae Young. His current price, $54.50. Now, here's a guy. Yeah. Look, I don't want to beat up a Trae Young. I've said I like Trae Young. He's a good player. Yeah. But, Domma, that's his hoops card. This is Shaquille O'Neal. This is his flagship rookie. His flagship.
He's Sauceys Smokey. We are going.
This is the Smokey. Well, we're not giving it. This is not an official Sauceys Smokey, but I'm just going to say to people, I seen this pattern last year around the same time, Domma, leading up into the season, where I was saying, why are guys paying so much for these guys going into the season? They've accomplished nothing. And, Shaquille O'Neal's prices were up there. But now everyone's forgot about Shaquille O'Neal and forgot about these vintage guys, and no one's buying him. As you can see, 3 months ago, he was selling for $90. It's now last sold 61, and that's actually a bit high because I did see one sell on auction for $45, which hasn't been added to Card Ladder's graph yet. Obviously, the data hasn't been double checked by Chris himself, so that's why it hasn't been added. But in my eBay watch list, one finished for $45. So the fact that you can buy Shaquille O'Neal's PSA 9 flagship card
Rookie.
For cheaper than a Trae Young PSA 9 hoops, you've lost your marbles. I'm telling you again, you've lost your marbles. And look, I'm not even going to bring up Luka the Don. Luka the Don is selling for $125. That's more than a Kobe Bryant hoops. I'll just bring it up for you.
I can't wait till he wins the MVP this year and everyone just loses it. He's a gun, but
right. A Kobe Bryant hoops last sold, which has just about the same pop report, mind you, but is way harder to grade. This, I'll keep saying to you, this is so undervalued right now. It's ridiculous, and the fact it's so undervalued is a joke. He's going to be freaking in the Hall of Fame come March. Go buy this card, PSA 9. It's so undervalued. The pop report shows you that to even grade it at a PSA 9, it's like 30-something% chance of grading it at that grade. It's the same card in NBA hoops. It's selling for 82. He's won 5 championships, ladies and gents. What the is going on? Oh, look, I lost it when we started this podcast. I was losing it about this same topic, and I'm losing it again, Domma, because it's ridiculous that people are paying this much.
You know what's funny? This trend that you said, it was actually leading into the season when we first started ranting about it because the bubble was technically the rest of the season. So the season ended, Shaq's gone down, plummeted, and guess what? What's happening? We're leading into the next season. So it's literally just rinse and repeat.
Zion hoops up. There you go. The Zion hoops PSA 9's got 3,600 in the pop report. That's selling for a measly 32. I'd have to agree with that. But the fact that a Shaquille O'Neal only gone last sold on eBay watch list at 45, I was watching it, so I seen it on auction. Wasn't a buy now, on auction, and that's getting filled. That will be on Card Ladder very soon. That someone's paying that. There's no chance that you're getting that card for 45 and not paying, because that's a steal.
100%.
So that's just his PSA 9s at that on the pop report. The PSA 10, well, that's up to 3,600, and that's going for 125. Look, gentlemen, ladies out there, just wake up. I beg you. Be smarter. Be smarter. No way should you be paying this much for these cards. Okay, and I'm just comparing the hoops card. But the biggest insult, Domma, the biggest insult is the fact that I'm comparing the hoops card, Trae Young's hoops card, Luka's hoops card, and Zion's hoops card to Shaquille O'Neal's, not his hoops card, because he's got a hoops card. I'm comparing it to his tops card, which is essentially his prism of the era. Do you get that? That's a joke. Shaq's won 4 championships. He's won MVPs, Finals MVPs. How many Finals MVPs has Luka won? How many Finals MVPs has Zion won? How many Finals MVPs has Trae Young won? How many MVPs have they won? How many championships have they won? Tell me. Someone tell me the answer. What is it, Domma? It's a donut, mate. It's a donut.
I can't wait. Yeah. I reckon, yeah. And just be wary. I know Trae Young's good, and obviously Luke is good, but I'm just going to put it out there again. Just be wary on Zion. Please, ladies and gents, please be wary on Zion. I'm not saying he's not going to be a good player. Just be very, very wary. I've said it from day dot, who his comp is. I'm not going into it again. Just be wary, because if shit hits the fan with him, you don't want to have all your, literally, everything invested into one guy. Just be very, very careful.
All right.
Very careful.
Domma, massive pod.
Another pod down.
Late.
All done. Thanks for tuning in live if you're on YouTube, and if you watch this later on, thank you. And for everyone listening on the audio, thank you as well. So yeah, keep living, loving, breathing sports. It's been Dom and Saucy. It's double coverage. Peace out.
Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcasting app. Also, if you could please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, that would be awesome. Don't forget to follow us on socials at DBL_coverage_ on both Instagram and Twitter to join in with your opinions.